They say sports are the last pure thing in America, a meritocracy, a field where raw talent meets iron discipline and hard work writes the final scoreboard, a place where the rules are clear and the outcome is honest. But take a closer look. Look past the bright lights and the slow motion replays, and you'll see the rot. It's a decay that started slow, a whisper in the locker room, a shadow in the boardroom, and it has now spread to the very heart of the game. Because somewhere between the multi-million-dollar endorsement deals and the gambling apps that are now plastered on every jersey and in every commercial break, we stopped building role models and started building brand ambassadors for a corrupt system. We're bombarded by DraftKings, by FanDuel. You think it's just betting, a harmless pastime? No. It's a machine. A pipeline is a multi-billion-dollar industry, feeding cash to corporations, to leagues, to networks, and in the process turning the athletes themselves into pawns for profit. The game is no longer the product, the betting is. And the media, the so-called watchdogs, they're not just complicit, they are partners in the crime. Now, Stephen A. Smith, a man who works under Bob Iger's media empire, hears about a massive scandal involving NBA royalty, direct mafia ties, high-tech gambling schemes that sound like something out of a James Bond movie. And what is his first instinctual reaction? He says, Trump's coming, not this is a serious threat to the integrity of the game, not we need answers and accountability, but fear. Fear of a man, Donald Trump, who's holding a mirror up to the corruption. Why? Because Trump threatens the entire game. The media's game, the game where the only crimes worth reporting are the ones they can pin on him or his supporters. And everything else, every real scandal, every instance of genuine corruption, gets buried under a mountain of whataboutism and political deflection. They've created a narrative where only one side can be guilty, and they will protect that narrative at all costs, even if it means ignoring the mob taking over professional sports. It wasn't always this way. There was a time when sports demanded character as a prerequisite for greatness. You wore a suit and tie to the post-game press conference because you were representing more than just yourself. You were representing a team, a city, an institution. You carried yourself with a quiet humility. You respected your opponent, you respected the game, and you respected the fans who paid their hard-earned money to watch you play. Now it's big gold chains on the field. It's tattoos from neckline to knuckles. It's choreographed end zone dances that scream, look at me, worship me, instead of, I respect the game. David Stern, the late NBA commissioner, he tried to hold the line once. He brought in a dress code for NBA players, not to be racist, as his critics screamed, but to bring back a sense of professionalism, of dignity. He was demanding that his players look like the professionals they were paid millions to be. And they mocked him for it. They called him an old man, out of touch. But he wasn't out of touch. He saw what was coming. He saw the slow decay of standards, and he tried to stop it. So you want to know why an NBA champion, a head coach, a man making $20 million a year gets caught up in a gambling scheme with direct mafia ties? It's simple. Because the money is not the problem. The culture is. For 50 years, we have been sending our young athletes, particularly our young black athletes, a different, more poisonous message. Forget discipline. Forget honor. Forget being a role model. Instead, mimic gangsters. Act tough. Dress like a pimp. Talk like a rapper. Keep it real, whatever that means now. The culture tells them that to be authentic, they must embrace the most toxic stereotypes. And if you don't, if you choose to be a family man, a man of faith, a quiet professional, you're soft, you're Carlton, you're Russell Wilson. You get ridiculed by your peers and by the media for having values, for being a good man. And once you embrace that culture, you are no longer your own man. See, it's not just about what they do, it's about who they do it with. It's a slow trap. You run with people who hit strip clubs and throw money around, you end up there too. You run with gamblers, with hustlers, with men who live in the gray areas of the law. Sooner or later, you're compromised. They learn your weaknesses. And once they know your secrets, who you sleep with, what you drink, what you hide from your wife and your team, they own you. And that's how real influence works. It's quiet, it's subtle. It's a chain made of favors and secrets, invisible to the outside world, until it's too late. You're not in control anymore. You're not making choices, you're following orders. The game owns you, and you do what you're told. Because the alternative is exposure and ruin. So when you hear these stories of coaches and players tied to underground poker rooms, to mafia names, to backroom deals and fixed games, don't act surprised. Don't clutch your pearls and wonder how it could happen. They are doing exactly what the culture has taught them, incentivized them, and celebrated them for doing. Because we built this. We, as a society, allowed this to happen. With music that glorifies greed and violence, with TV shows that celebrate lawlessness and call it entertainment, with a social media ecosystem that rewards clout chasing over quiet strength. We didn't just lose the plot, we rewrote it, chapter by chapter, until the villains became the heroes. And who is watching all of this? Our children. Go to a pee-wee football game now. A little kid, 8 years old, scores a touchdown, and what's the first thing he does? He taunts. He dances. He flashes a hand sign he saw on Instagram or in a video game. Because he thinks that's what success looks like. He's mimicking what he sees on TV. He's not celebrating with his teammates. He's performing for an imaginary audience. He's learning that the spotlight is more important than the team. Not teamwork, not sportsmanship, just spectacle. And we have the nerve to wonder why the old values are gone. They're not just gone, they've been systematically replaced by a culture of narcissism. This isn't just a sports problem, it's a cultural epidemic, and it reflects the decay of our institutions. Athletes used to be heroes. They represented the best of us. Discipline, perseverance, grace under pressure. Now, they are brand ambassadors for broken, corrupt systems. We turned our locker rooms into marketing agencies. We turned our post-game interviews into music video auditions. We celebrated the rebellion, the attitude, the swagger, and we forgot to demand the character that must accompany it. We stopped raising men, and we started manufacturing icons with no moral core. And when one of them inevitably falls, when a scandal like this breaks, we're supposed to pretend that the real problem is the person exposing it? No, the problem is everything that led to it. And let me be clear, this isn't about race, this is not about politics, this is about standards. It's about a moral compass. And the truth is, we've lowered our standards to the point that our athletes now have to choose between professionalism and popularity. And most will always choose the path the system rewards: spectacle, scandal, and ultimately submission to the very forces that will destroy them. It's time to flip that script. It's time to demand better from the players, from the leagues, from the media, and most importantly, from ourselves. We have to stop rewarding the behavior that is poisoning our culture. We still have time. Not to go backwards to some forgotten era, but to return to timeless principles. To make sports and our culture a place where character matters more than clout. Where our children learn how to win without losing themselves in the process. And where our heroes are men of substance, not just men who can sell shoes. This is Robert Davi, and this is what I stand for. Chris Dallas. Celebrity recreations. You know what to do. Subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like, and share this video, because the YouTube algorithms are not going to push this truth unless we do. Thanks for watching. Davi out.